Hello, welcome to the auspicious surroundings of the perfectly formed Vitality Stadium. If I just show you around, that's where the Norwich fans were for the game. You can see a bit of tidying up going on. There's a few people in the dugouts there. And I hope you don't think this is a bit naughty, but we've got Dave Freezer doing his video. We've got Connor over there doing his matchday vlog as well, and up there Rob Butler's doing his canary call. So it's quite busy. Everyone's doing videos now, which is probably the way it should be. So I'm not filling because there were no goals, but let's be clear, there were no goals. It's finished here goalless, which I think will be a relief for a lot of people given how Norwich were kind of ripped apart by Aston Villa. I think this was exactly the reaction we wanted to see from Daniel Farke's side. I think they showed a lot of character in how they went about today. And to be honest, I think a point was the least they deserved because they created some good moments. They were resolute at the back. There weren't too many hairy moments at the other end, and you've got a lot of people talking from this side of things and maybe from the national media saying how wretched the game was and things like that, which I suppose it was to a degree, but there were some good passages of play, and you have to appreciate you've got two sides here who will have probably seen this as a winnable game, even for Norwich, which is a kind of a case in point. We're speaking to my colleague Peter, covering Bournemouth. Bournemouth have got Josh Brooks to come back, and Josh King was on the bench today, and Callum Wilson looked a bit tired, and they've got a lot of quality players at Bournemouth. They built up a really good squad because they've been established for so long in the Premier League, and Norwich have obviously got players out as well in their own injury crisis to deal with, especially in centre back. But it's some effort for them to get any kind of point anywhere in the Premier League because they're adjusting to it as a newly promoted side. So I think that makes this point excellent. I think you could see from the return of Tim Krul what a difference that made. But I have to say, Alex Tettey, absolutely immense. When he's like, there was just one moment in the first half where he read a cross coming in, and you're just like, that's exactly what Norwich have been missing. So wasn't without its obstacles this afternoon, because Ben Godfrey midway through the second half felt pain from where he'd obviously had a hernia operation just less than 2 weeks ago, and Alex Tettey said Ben now holds the record for comeback from a hernia operation being about 10 days probably. So we're hoping that that's not too bad and he'll still be available for Manchester United, because as well as Ibrahim Amadou and Alex Tettey did as a centre-back pairing for most of the second half, I think it was 40 minutes in the end, something like that. The way Bournemouth played, their kind of decreased physicality and keeping the ball on the ball and actually going quite direct, which is how Bournemouth played. It surprised me a little bit just how direct they were. Probably made it a decent game for Amadou and Tettey to be paired in central midfield. So we'll see what we're like when we get to Man United visiting Carrow Road next Sunday. That should be a corker of a game, by the way. And Norwich should go into it with positivity. It was a draw, but Daniel Farke went over and gave the olays to the away fans, because I think this was a characterful performance. They didn't ever look uncomfortable, which I think is saying quite a lot, and that's because they did things that made life easier for them. They were better in possession. I still look at them and think, there is still huge improvement in terms of what they do, but this is a real foundation block. And of course, the thing about a foundation block is it completely depends on what you then build on it. That's where you have to step forward and make sure that you're making the most of it, because if not, it'll just sit there, it'll get exposed, and your wall is as high as when you laid your first foundation block. I think I've extended that metaphor quite enough there. So there we go. We will move on. That is the South Coast done for this season. I think Norwich can be, as I said, pretty happy with their work here today. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I missed out. Marco Stiefman was dropped from the 11, which I think it proved to be the right call in terms of how Norwich shaped up, and it was more of a 4-1-4-1 with Maurice Leitner kind of pushing on, so it then slipped into a 4-4-1-1, and Leitner was the one pushing on closest to Teemu Pukki, and he tried to do that in the second half, certainly at the start more. I'm not sure he got the best out of Moritz being that close to Teemu. I can see the thinking, but I don't know if it quite worked today. So that was one change. Some of them found it trickier going. Again, you can see in terms of the creative players like Emi and Todd, they're trying really hard, but just making the final passes tell it's not quite happening. And we are looking at a Norwich side currently relying probably a little bit too heavily on Timu Pukki. So fair play to Kenny McLean and Tom Tribal, who both tried to pull the trigger from range and actually went quite close. Certainly in Tom's case, it was great to see Tom back on the pitch too. And also, I think we saw pretty good performances from Max and Jamal today. I thought that's as good as Max has played actually in the Premier League, I would say. I think he's starting to look like he's adjusting. Yeah, now I'm thinking about that, definitely. Jamal has been excellent since the start of the season. He looks the part. I think he's been one of the most consistent performers in this side so far this season. So it's good to see those two getting involved. And Norwich had a good balance to them. It'll be interesting if they use this more often away from home. But certainly in terms of seeing players like Tim Krul and the likes back, it was reassuring. It gives Norwich a good platform, and of course it finished goalless, which means Norwich got their first point away from home in the Premier League this season. It's another one on the board, another one closer to where they want to get to, which is still a fair distance away, but we will take it as we head home. Manchester United next, of course, on Sunday tomorrow week, whenever you're watching this. 7 days, 8 days time, and of course for full analysis and a few features on the way over the coming week, make sure you check into theathletic.co.uk. Get subscribed if you haven't already. Some of the content on there is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not talking about myself there, but there's loads of good stuff, so make sure you catch it. Until then, have a lovely rest of your weekend and week. See you soon.